Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Krysten Jansen. Today, I want to talk to you all about how to actually make exercise a habit.
I've been doing things that they told me I should never do. I've been doing things that they told me I could never do now. Never do, I could never do. I've been looking back and I'm the only one who ever knew. My dreams began to turn out.
The reason why people get lost and don't succeed in making exercise a habit is, well, it's not really a habit. Exercise, it should be a part of our routine. I think the exercises that are taken before the actual act of exercising itself are the true habits, such as changing into your gym clothes, driving to the gym, taking your pre-workout, getting a new gym playlist, whatever it is. These are examples of true habits that need to be instilled in us if we want to succeed in making exercise a part of our everyday routine. So how do we do this? Firstly, we have to get rid of this all or nothing mindset. Going 100% all in on our new lifestyle, it's just not the right approach. If we want it to be sustainable and to be a true lifestyle change versus just being another program that you tried for 60 days, I have found the best way to accomplish lasting lifestyle changes is just to allow for incremental changes and accomplishments to stack up over time. So if you're starting a new fitness program this year, allow yourself to have incremental wins on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. So for example, day 1, you get your new training program. That's a win. Day 2, you ask your coach certain questions and then you go out grocery shopping. That's a win. Day 3, you make time to actually meal prep. Another win. Day 4, you plan out your meals and you actually stick to your nutrition program. Day 5, you make some time to start looking at your workout program. And then day 6, you plan what days you're gonna go train, so on and so forth. The stacking and building of these accomplishments, it allows your brain to think, hey, I'm making progress, this is fun, let's keep going. Whereas if you go all in and try to do everything at once, everything in day 1, all it takes is just one minor setback and it can be completely detrimental mentally, and it can cause your brain to think, I don't like this, I failed, don't do that again. It goes into fight or flight where it's trying to protect you from avoiding that feeling of failure because it thinks that it's in danger. Your brain has been designed to help you survive. So if it does something that it doesn't like the feeling of, such as failing, it's going to cause these negative thoughts in your head and make you want to run. So overall here, you're more likely to recover from a minor setback when you stack your accomplishments versus having the all or nothing mindset that everything needs to be perfect right off the bat. I honestly think that that's what kept me going after my back injuries, because throughout my fitness career, I've been stacking these accomplishments over time that this setback, it allowed me to keep going. Whereas if I had adopted the all or nothing mindset in the beginning of my fitness career, hell, I may have not even have made it this far. And definitely, I know for a fact I wouldn't have overcome that back injury because there were days where I wanted to quit. And I know if I had those habits where it was all or nothing, I would have quit because it was nothing. If you have the all or nothing mindset and you have nothing for a few months, you're gonna quit. So that really kept me going. So once you understand that essentially you need to build a habit roadmap to stack these accomplishments, next I would just focus on identifying and living what type of person you wanna be, what type of athlete you wanna be. I love this step because it gives you the ability to show up and perform the habit even when you have a setback. So what type of person do you want to be? For example, I want to be a fit person. I want to be a person who doesn't make excuses. I want to be a person who never misses a workout. And I think once you identify what type of person you want to be, it's going to allow you to follow through. It's going to help you show up despite any setbacks that happen, because setbacks are normal. They're gonna happen. So for example, if you're sick one day with a cold, you define yourself as the person who never misses a workout. So despite being sick, you still show up. Maybe you don't go to the gym and get everybody else sick, but maybe you do 20 squats at home, you go for a walk around the block, or maybe you do 10 push-ups and that's all you got, that's all you can do, but you still showed up despite the setback. And it allows you to realize even at its worst, it's still better than doing nothing. So if you're starting another new program, or you just can't seem to stick to the program that you currently are on, or you feel like you're just jumping from program to program to program, focus on mastering just just showing up. Don't worry so much about the performance of the program or the performance in the gym. It's about showing up at first and being consistent over time. If you can master these habits right here, the benefits from the program, they're going to follow. I was actually listening to the Minimalist podcast the other day, and they were talking about habits, and they gave an example of this gentleman who wanted to be the type of person to show up at the gym, but he thought to himself, he can't even drive to the gym. How is he supposed to work out if he doesn't even have the habit set up to drive to the gym? So he actually started driving to the gym, and he would go in and work out for 5 minutes. That's it. He would just work out for 5 minutes, get in the car, turn around, and go home. Sounds ridiculous, right? I thought so at first too. But the idea here was that if the person can't even identify themselves as someone who would at least drive to the gym, they're not going to be the type of person to actually work out there consistently. It was fascinating because he built up the habit of being the type of person to work out at the gym consistently, and his workout sessions became longer over time. And I think by the end of his journey, he lost approximately 100 pounds just by creating that habit of being the person that would drive to the gym. Definitely a prime example here of the importance of initiating and creating that habit prior to the routine itself. So I thought that was really cool. Okay, so next, you have to focus on enjoying the process. Life's too short to hate doing what you're doing. If you hate doing something, then don't do it. Now, don't get me wrong here. There's a time and place for doing the things that you don't enjoy doing in order to make progress, but at the same time, there's no need to suffer. There are alternatives to doing something if you just desperately don't enjoy it and you can't stick to it, because at the end of the day, consistency is key. So if you hate doing squats, for example, and you would rather use the leg press machine, don't do squats then. It doesn't matter. You're not subjected to doing one specific thing because it worked for so-and-so and you have to do it. There are alternatives and variations that you can implement so you can still enjoy the process a bit. I think also to add on that, so many people, they use exercise and going to the gym as a form of punishment if they had a cheat meal or if they had a beer, they went out or whatever. And it's causing those negative reinforcements that the gym is, they have to go to the gym because they did something bad. No wonder why people hate going to the gym and are afraid of it. So don't use exercise as a form of punishment at all. It should be meant as a positive reinforcement where you feel good because it helps relieve some stress. It helps you relieve some tension in your shoulders and your hips from sitting all day. Maybe you're out working out with a girlfriend and you have some time with them. You have to create those positive reinforcements in order to enjoy doing what you are doing. I think once we can focus on making the gym a more positive experience, then we can master the next step, which I ultimately think is the most important step of all, and that's to embrace the boredom. Like we just talked about, it's important to enjoy doing what you're doing, but there is a time and place where you have to just embrace the boredom and suck it up and keep going versus jumping from program to program to program because you're bored. So as you progress in the gym over time, there is going to be some boredom that you have to endure. I think a lot of people mistake boredom for not making progress in the gym, which it's not true most of the time. I think that it's a good indicator of opposite. It's a sign that you're ready to push yourself even harder to that next level. Because let's be real here, some days in the gym are gonna be boring, especially when you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're doing squats over again, you're doing bench press over again. But the boredom of that, it doesn't last forever. And I think when people get bored, this is why those high intensity classes are so popular, like P90X or the F45. The classes are always changing. You're always doing something different and it feels good because you're sweating. Your body's not used to it every single time, which is great, and it feels good if you're sweating. But if your goal is to tone up, put on some muscle, change your body composition, relying on these classes alone that are constantly changing is actually not the best approach at all if these are the goals that you want to achieve. It's like that old saying, if you're always changing the recipe, you're never going to get your cake. That's the same thing here. You can't be constantly changing your workout program if you want to get the results that you are looking for. You're never going to get what you originally intended if you're constantly changing those ingredients. You have to follow the recipe, you have to follow the plan if you're going to see results. So even though that rolling out that batter for, I don't know how to cook or bake, but even rolling out the batter to make bread, that shit's boring as hell, I bet. I don't know. I mean, some people enjoy it, of course, but maybe that part's boring. You can't switch it up. You have to endure the boredom there if you're gonna get the cake. Do you roll out batter when you make cake? I don't know. That's for bread maybe, okay? So if you want to get a nice loaf of bread, you roll out the batter, but you can't switch up the ingredients, otherwise you're never going to get your loaf of bread. Does that make sense? It's the same thing with the gym. You have to be sticking to the same program so you can increase strength, increase your volume, and increase your movement patterns. You can't be switching it up all the time. If what you are wanting to achieve is body composition changes, putting on muscle, and toning up. So if you are feeling bored with your training, that's okay. You are still making progress, even though it doesn't feel like it at times. So you have to embrace that boredom in order to get to that next step, in order to get to that next level. That's your time to say, hey, it's time to step it up. It's time to push even harder. Once you're at this level of boredom, focus on getting better from week to week. Focus on getting stronger from week to week. Also recommend trying to find a friend who can go with you so it helps get through that boredom. You have somebody to go with, so you're creating again that positive reinforcement that even though you're bored, hey, this is my time to spend with my friend versus going out for cocktails on Friday. We're gonna go lift some barbells together instead. So that'll help you make that positive reinforcement so you can get through and get past that boredom. And just remember that the boredom, it doesn't last forever. This too shall pass. And then once you get to this stage, it's gonna start to feel easier and easier. You're gonna start to enjoy going to the gym more. It's gonna feel more like a habit. You're not gonna have to force yourself. It's gonna actually get to the point where it feels like you're brushing your teeth. You know, there's never a day that any of us, I'd like to think most of us, don't skip brushing our teeth. If we do, that's pretty gross, right? None of us really skip brushing our teeth. So it's gonna feel the same thing with the gym. It's gonna feel like you skipped brushing your teeth if you skip the gym. And then once you have successfully created this habit, there's gonna be a sense of accomplishment where each time you get to the gym, you're just gonna release that dopamine. Your brain's gonna be like, yeah, let's do this. We're making progress. It's just gonna get easier and easier, and those automatic thoughts are gonna be reoccurring. This sounds like a lot of work. I know, it is. Creating these positive habits, it takes time, especially when we've hated going to the gym for the last 5 years or so. It's gonna take time to get over that. So don't put an expiry date on it. Don't put a deadline on when this habit needs to be created by, otherwise you give up, you quit. Time's gonna pass anyways, so you might as well focus on creating that habit, whether it takes 20 days or it takes 200 days. In the end, whenever you get there, because everybody is different, everyone is on different paths, it will be worth it, I promise. That about wraps up today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, do me a huge favor. Make sure you comment down below, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to chatting with you all in the next video. Until then, make sure you guys go out there, strive for more, be more, and ignite your inner athlete.